What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new trader interview with Blue Guardian. Today, we have one of our funded guardians. We've got Jason in the chat, and we're going to chat to him a little bit about his trading journey. He's got a $10,000 account with us, and he's managed to withdraw $300 so far, and he's on his way to making his next withdrawal as well. So we're going to chat a little bit about that and find out a little bit more about his trading style and how he manages to withdraw consistently from prop firms. So welcome, Jason.
Ethan, how
Thank
you
you very
doing?
much for being here, man. I just wanted to dig a little bit deeper into how you got started trading. How long have you been trading now?
I've been trading about 5 years, on and off. I
Awesome.
started actually with
Hmm. How did you get started?
actually I got started with crypto when it
Okay,
went parabolic in I think it was 2018. I
right.
put some money in and lost lost some money, and then somehow I found out about Forex through Instagram, like everybody else, and started actually following signals. And
Yeah, like
that
all
was
of us.
yeah, like everybody else. And it was good in the beginning. The guy that I followed he seemed legitimate. I made money for several months. Didn't even pay attention to my risk management, had no idea.
Hmm.
Um, I just used a fixed lot and just went at it. And then eventually that I started losing money. The signals were not good anymore. And then I seeked out, a strategy. Tried to come up with my own, and eventually followed some reputable people, um, and had some consistency. Beginner's
Hmm.
luck, like everybody else. You do well in the beginning. You have no fear. You don't know what you're doing.
Hmm.
I didn't have a trading plan or anything,
Hmm.
so I went through a lot for several years. Lost a lot of money. Um, didn't give up, but actually I did end up giving up or just stopping for a few years, and just going on my you know just focusing on my full-time job. Then I came back at it again, the
Hmm.
past couple of years, and started becoming more consistent. I took it more seriously. I looked
Hmm.
back at what I was doing, had a lot of lessons learned,
Hmm.
um, and I think it wasn't until this year I started actually becoming even more consistent, breaking even, and now actually becoming
Hmm.
profitable.
Whereabouts are you based?
Dallas, Texas.
Oh, awesome, awesome. It's a great place to be. I'd say. I'd probably one of my favorite places
Oh
in America. I'd say if I had to choose where to be. Yeah.
It's fun.
What do you do for your full-time job, if I can ask?
I'm a DevOps engineer,
Okay.
and I work for
Well, what does that entail?
um, it entails a lot of different things, but bottom line, I help um, deliver software faster.
Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
Companies. That's basically what it comes down to.
Do you think that in any way translates into the way that you're able to trade more effectively?
Yes, yes, it does. There's a term in DevOps called continuous learning.
Okay.
So um, I've taken that on where I'm continually learning what I'm doing, generally what I'm doing, taking my time more than anything, and not
Mm,
losing sight of the big picture. Uh, I've been doing DevOps for a while, but I didn't really apply those principles into
mm,
trading until recently, and I'm not sure why.
mm.
I guess I wanted to become rich quick or make money,
Yeah.
and I was too hyper focused on money. Now I'm
Yeah.
not anymore. It's just take my time. The big picture is just start small and then be
Yeah.
consistent, and it'll pay off eventually.
When do you think that you had that mind shift, that switch of mindset where you started thinking more long term instead of just getting rich quick?
Um, but it was about it was that 2 years ago when I had
Mm.
my kind of turning point there. Uh, had my third child, and so just kind of, I mean, you would think after two, but it really shifted my mindset at that point. I need to do more. I need to, I would like to save more and have more of a nest egg for them, to take care of them.
Mm, mm,
And then at that point, like I was having a lot of health issues as well. and so I started working on eating better,
Mm.
sleeping better. I mean, that's with kids it's kind of hard, but
Yeah.
um, I think I do better with that. Just being more consistent overall with everything in my life.
Mm.
Um,
Do, do you think that that had a big effect on your trading overall?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, some of the health issues are still lingering. I mean, I was
Mm.
not taking care of myself. Like,
Mm. Mm.
so, for example, I have a lot of floaters in my eyes, so it makes it hard to see white screens or look at the sky or be outside. I've kind of learned to deal with that over the past few years, but
Mm.
I don't let that affect me, like to any detriment. It's just
Mm.
um, something I've accepted. It's like looking at my vision is like looking at a dirty fish tank, you just see stuff
Okay.
floating.
Wow.
But it psychologically for a lot of people, it's a difficult thing to go through.
Mm. Mm.
Um, but to me, it's just, okay, I've accepted it. I'll just work on everything else that I have control over.
Mm. Would you also say that discovering prop firms in general helped your trading journey in any way?
Oh,
And yeah, when did you start to take advantage of them?
um, I took advantage of them since the last 2 years, actually.
Mm.
I started with FTMO, blew those. The time limit is what really psychologically puts a dent in you. You
Mm.
feel like you have to trade every day. You
Mm.
start to find trades that are normally not part of your plan. So I went through quite a few of those, and I did one with Blue Guardian before the rebrand. Didn't do well on that one. So I don't know how many before Blue Guardian I did, probably five, six, I think. But again, the time limit really got to me. And now this last one I took, it did have a time limit, but actually did much better
Yeah.
and passed it. So, but the no time limit now is definitely
Mm.
it's awesome.
And how confident do you feel now that you've passed a few challenges? Do you feel more confident in terms of going forward and passing more?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I know what to expect. I'm always every day I'm looking at the dashboard, looking at how I'm doing, what my
Mm.
RR is, my profit factor and whatnot. I try not to focus on the money, just more how I'm
Mm.
performing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's interesting. I had a big mindset shift myself when I started trading prop firms, and that's really how I started becoming profitable because it changes the way you look at things. You're not looking to make a lot out of a little bit of money anymore. You're looking to make percentages. Was it the same for you as well?
yeah, I've always looked at it that since they started. I've always looked at it as percentages,
Hmm. Hmm.
never the other way around.
Hmm.
I used a copy trading tool Um, there's an interesting way I go about it where I'll copy my trades from Oanda so I could trade on TradingView.
Oh
Uh,
yes, yeah. No, I know about
uh,
that.
and so then I just draw the risk reward tool and I just enter my trades like that 1% and that's it. So I only focus on percentages.
Awesome. What kind of how would you describe your trading strategy in general? Is it a support and resistance, supply demand? Do you use the Fibonacci? Is it ICT based?
No, a little bit of it's not ICT based, but a little bit of Fibonacci. Some
Okay.
support resistance, mostly for gauging where I'm at in the market. If I'm
Hmm.
going to hit a major support, major resistance,
Hmm.
kind of try to keep out, or if it's going in my favor, then I'll get into a trade. But it's really just intraday. I'm trading off
Hmm.
of the 3 and 5 minute
Okay.
chart. Really, my entries are coming in from the 3 minute, and I'm looking at the higher time frames as far as daily. And if they all line up with my bias, then I'm pretty confident going um, a full 1%. Sometimes two if I'm really confident. But
Okay.
most of the time, to be honest, I'm like half a percent
Okay.
with a
Are,
pretty good
are
RR.
you, are you meaning the risk or
Yeah, the
okay,
risk.
cool. And what's
Sorry.
your risk reward ratio usually?
I usually try to go for one, for two. But
Okay.
these days it's been a little bit overzealous, so It's
Mm.
about 1 to 1 point something.
Okay.
But I'm still pretty
And
profitable.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it just depends on you and your personality. Some people like the higher risk rewards, but then they have to be realistic and know that their win rate's going to be less. So for some people, they just prefer lower risk rewards because they have a higher win rate, and for them, it's just easier for their brain to wrap around. And I think that's the thing. People have different preferences. Um,
Yeah,
did you go through that whole journey of trying different risk rewards and those kinds of things, or did you always
yeah.
just stick with a lower risk reward?
I tried different ones.
Mm.
The strategy I use, it's 80% um, win rate on it.
Okay.
But in reality, when you're psychologically impaired, it's 50%, and that's what it is right
Mm,
now.
mm,
And I don't think that's what people factor in. You have 80% probability of winning the trade, but if your psychology gets in the way. But yeah,
yeah.
so going back to the risk reward, I tried high risk reward, and with different strategies, it just never worked.
Mm,
Um, so the only thing I do is I'll leave a small part of my trade running just as a bonus, and that's it. I'll usually cut
okay.
75% at about a little bit over 1-1, and just let the rest run until the next measure move.
Okay. I also wanted to ask, how do you deal with potential drawdowns psychologically? Do you have any tips for traders dealing with drawdowns?
Um, Take some time off the charts. Take a few days
Okay.
off if you need a day or so, whatever you feel.
Hmm.
If you're feeling mentally bogged down from that.
Mm,
Um, Also, really just having a strategy as well when you do hit drawdown. Do you want to take
hmm,
another percent that, or you want to take the same amount of risk you've been taking?
mm,
Generally, I'll give myself a couple of tries, and if I'm way too much into to drawdown, I'll cut my position that I usually would take in half and try to build back up slowly. That's
mm,
just my way of getting through it
mm.
psychologically.
And when you're trading for example, a funded evaluation versus the actual live account, do you trade them differently at all?
Yeah, I'm more conservative with those.
Mm.
Um,
When you're funded.
when I'm funded, yes, yes.
Okay.
Um, so I kind of apply the same drawdown strategy. If I'm way too much into drawdown, like
Mm,
5%, I'm cutting down significantly in my risk just to
mm,
build back up,
mm.
right? And if it goes
And
further down, then I keep cutting in half.
mm. Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people start to get more aggressive when they get into drawdown, and I think that's a big mistake. That's how you end up blowing, I believe. And especially now that there's no time limits, I think that it just makes sense. Yeah, I've brought back funded accounts from like the dead before, like literally like 80%, 8% drawdown, 9% drawdown, and I brought it back all the way back. And that's just because they were funded and there was no time limit, right? But now we
Yeah,
can do that with funded accounts as well, evaluations as well. So
yeah.
I think there's a lot less of an urgency to hurry up and try and pass. Do you think that the new unlimited time limits make a massive difference?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
You can take your time. I mean, it's that simple.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
if you're not a patient person,
Mm, yeah,
good luck.
yeah.
Yeah. But
What's your plans going forward for your accounts? Are you looking to scale and get more? What's your next steps?
next step really is just for right now, just withdraw
Mm,
often. I didn't do
mhm,
that before, even with my money.
mm,
So I really follow the schedule every 2 weeks, and
mhm.
that way I see the money and feel the money, and just pay bills with it. That's it. And
Yeah.
I have another funded account where I'm just saving up for
Mm,
another one. And so
mm.
that's how I plan to scale a little bit faster, take those profits and build up to a bigger account and just continue
Okay.
on.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think as well, having a 2 week withdrawal schedule makes it so much easier. And that's what I keep saying. Like, once you get that 2 week withdrawal time, it's difficult to go to any other prop firm that you have to wait a month for, because within that month, are you really going to sit and wait the whole month for that withdrawal? Say you make a few percent and you're like, okay, I'm happy with this. Are you really going to sit there for the next 2 weeks waiting for your
Yeah.
withdrawal? And I think it makes a big difference. So what's your opinion on
No,
that?
yeah, it does. It does psychologically. You get
Yeah.
your money, right?
Yeah.
And I lost my train of thought on that. But
Yeah, it just allows you to really basically bank profits. It's like I keep saying, it's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It's like that game show. You keep banking profits as you go up, rather
yeah,
than, hey, if I get the next question wrong, I lose everything. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
it's
that's actually on
exactly
the
like
back of
that.
my mind too. Like, right, if I don't withdraw now, it'll be gone probably in a week, you know. And
Exactly.
what I've noticed is I hit like it's like 2.5%.
Hmm.
That's per every 2 weeks. That's where that for some reason always
Mm,
that's the ceiling for me. So it's like generally like 4 or 5% a month
mm,
um, that I'm able to bank, and
mm.
that's something
That's
I
the
have to
thing.
respect.
That's the thing. It's a lot. I mean, we look on social media and we're like, hey, these people are making like 10, 20% a month. And that's not realistic. Making 3 or 4%, 5% a month is amazing. Like, already that's more than most hedge funds. You know what I mean? That's a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
money. And if you just scale that and you're consistent with that, I think, you could really, really kill it. And that's what a lot of people neglect, I think. What's your take on well, firstly, what's your journey been like with Blue Guardian so far? You said you took the evaluation before the rebrand as well.
yeah.
What's your opinion on the new Blue Guardian, and how's your experience been so far with withdrawals and all of those things?
Okay, so before the rebrand, they
Mm.
seemed a little sketchy, but it was cheap,
Okay.
right? It was like, okay, I'll take this. And I was on their Telegram. They all seemed nice. The owners seemed
Mm.
nice, so I went with it. And then after the rebrand, even better, like
Mhm.
night and day. Yeah,
Mm.
Discord channel, and you get responses fast from support.
Mm.
Um, the withdrawals are pretty fast, I would say, probably faster than just
Mm.
regular brokers, forex brokers.
Mm.
So you get your money,
Yeah.
and so far so good. I don't have any complaints
Mm.
or anything. It's been a good experience. So I mean, I
Yeah.
would buy more challenges in the future,
Mm.
definitely.
Mm. Mm. And what do you think sets Blue Guardian apart from other prop firms in your opinion?
Um, the customer service and response times, I think, and
Mm.
you get to talk
Mm.
with the founders.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I
They're
think
very
it's also
interactive.
important. Yeah, I think it's also important that we know who they are and all that stuff, and they're
Yes.
very active as well. I think that's a big thing. A lot of people are just like literally working with a prop firm where you don't know who you're actually dealing with, and they could literally just rug pull you and leave. But now we actually
Yeah.
know who we're dealing with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
yeah.
what I was alluding to, right? Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice, and I think that's also with the rebrand, Blue Guardian in general. We were pushing to make sure that Sean and Eric were, in the spotlight. Everybody knew who they were, their story, and all those things. We're going to be bringing a lot more of their stuff to light as well. We're doing. I'm going to the UK soon. We're going to do interviews with them as well, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of cool content coming from them as well. And I think it's important that everybody knows who they're working with. Like, I think it's very, very important, especially longevity wise. Um, but on that note, when you got into trading, right, and you started struggling, um, if you could have gone in a time machine now and gone back to that point, what advice would you have given yourself to help you get through some of the issues you were facing?
Normally, I don't like doing this, but because that you have to learn, you have to go through all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
Uh, to get to where you are now. And some people's journey is a
exactly.
lot shorter than mine. But uh, probably just focus on the big picture, take your time,
Okay.
I would have, told myself, you have plenty of time to make this
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Really, that's all. But just taking my time, focusing on the big picture.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I would have done that, I'd probably be, in a much better position
Mm, mm, mm.
now.
I think we all struggle with that. But yeah, thank you very much, Jason. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to chat to us about your journey. And yeah, I mean, it's really impressive what you've achieved so far. And if you keep doing exactly what you're doing and just literally scaling it, really the sky's the limit. So
Yes.
congratulations on your progress so far, man.
Thank you, Ethan. It was a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you very much for chatting with us. And
Likewise.
to everybody watching on YouTube, thank you very much for watching. We will see you in the next trader interview. Please do let us know what you thought about this one in the comments down below. Cheers, everybody.